Hi, I'm Jesse Rosen, president of the League of American Orchestras. Not so long ago, I had the pleasure of attending the conference of the independent sector. And the independent sector is the umbrella organization for all nonprofits. So it's churches, it's schools, it's foundations, it's social service agencies. And the League is actually one of the few arts organizations that's active in the independent sector. There are 1,000 people there. We were in Chicago. And as in past instances when I've gone, it's a wonderful place to be because we're together with this whole very diverse set of people and organizations. And the one thing that I think everyone there would say they have in common is that they're about making the world a better place. And that feels like a good home for us. I get a good feeling being there and being identified with that aspiration and people who work very hard on all of the dimensions of that work and all the ways it's made manifest. And on this occasion, we were actually invited for a specific, we were invited to present for a very specific reason, and that is, as we've shared with a number of you at conference, the League has developed a public value toolkit, which is designed to help orchestras really do two things. One is to develop more effective ways of, in fact, creating value in their communities, and also to communicate more effectively about that public value. And we've been working very closely with the independent sector in a lot of lobbying issues, particularly recently around tax policy. Anyhow, Heather Noonan, our VP for advocacy, had shared our toolkit with the independent sector folks, and they said, well, you're like way ahead of everybody else, and this is really very, very important work, and we want to be sure that the rest of the sector is aware of what you've been up to. So I was invited to present our toolkit to the delegates at the conference, and it was extremely well received, and many people asked me for copies of it and how did you do this, how did you do that, et cetera, et cetera. And also, I had really a lovely experience in presenting it. It was actually on a panel that was focusing primarily on impact, and that's certainly a part of our work in the Public Value Toolkit. I shared this panel with a woman named Ajen Poo, who'd won the American Express Award at the conference for being a great, brilliant, promising young leader. And she was sitting next to me. And after the presentation was over, she looked at me and she said, you know, I think of orchestras as the soul of cities. And that was a nice thing to hear. And Ajen, her distinction, by the way, was she founded the Union of Domestic Workers. I'm not sure it's a union exactly, but the association to serve their interests. And it's just wonderful to be shoulder to shoulder with people who, as I said earlier, are trying to make the world a better place. And it was a great showcase for us and a great affirmation that the League's work is regarded so highly in helping the sector, because the whole sector is facing this challenge. What's our value proposition today? How do we create and communicate public value to our stakeholders and to policymakers? So the last thing just to share with you is you can access our public value toolkit on the League's website. If you go to the advocacy section on the homepage, click on that, and then you'll come to, on the left side, one of those sides, you'll find the public advocacy toolkit listed there. I encourage you to go check it out. And thanks again for listening. So long.